wireless circuit. So 4G will be able to do voice over IP. The bandwidth will be significant enough, and the latency will be lower. And latency is an important term that I can go into more detail later, but basically it's the true speed of a connection, the actual point A to point B speed as compared to the bandwidth speed. The latency will be lower, the bandwidth will be increased, the coverage should also increase over time to where now you literally can do almost everything you can do with a broadband connection on a laptop or on a mobile device, you can do wirelessly. So that will enable some things coming up, which I will talk about in the next segment. But basically, the jump in internet speed should be significant enough from 4G to 3G that it will enable things like the voice over IP, possibly video conferencing better, lots of different things. Also significant is that because of that increase in bandwidth, a lot of the carriers are giving true unlimited capability to their subscribers, at least in the early stages. Hopefully that will continue on. But basically where most 3G services have a cap, either like a 2 to 5 gigabyte per month cap of how much data you can transfer, the 4G services should be, according to most of the vendors and most of their pricing plans right now, truly unlimited, in that you don't have to worry about capping your data or having it capped for you. You should be able to use as much as you want. And that again speaks to the significantly increased bandwidth to where providers don't have to cap it. They have plenty to go around, so they don't need to cap it. Obviously that'll be a big boon to people that do a lot of wireless data transfers, or people that, again, can't get broadband otherwise to their home. So if they can get 4G broadband to their home, it should allow them to feel virtually as if they're on a wired broadband service. So that hopefully should simplify things, because for all the terms being thrown around, LTE, WiMAX, 4G, 3G, 3.5G, all these sort of terms that are being thrown around, it really just comes down to a pretty simple thing. 3G networks are current, 4G networks are the next generation. They are starting to be deployed. AT&T, I think, just made an announcement that they're going to deploy in a lot of cities this summer. Verizon continues their deployment. So hopefully in the next year, we will see widespread 4G deployments, which again should enable a lot of things going on. A lot of new technology advances should allow that to happen, or to become a lot easier. So increased internet coverage in rural areas, all sorts of great things. So that is, in a nutshell, the difference 3G, 4G. And again, don't forget, when T-Mobile talks about 4G, it's not the same as the other companies talking about 4G. So yes, it is faster, but it isn't in the same caliber as the other 4G network implementation. So I'm going to take a quick break here, and when I come back, we'll talk in depth about the iPad competitors and what CNN thought about them in a review, which I thought was a pretty fair review. So we'll talk about that, and certainly, of course, any other questions or comments you have, feel free to call in 314-714-4200. Let me give a quick shout out to another sponsor, Phil Caravia of Edward Jones. I've mentioned Phil a couple times before, and I always mention how he's a state champion golfer. It was several years ago when he was in high school. But Phil, what he looks for, basically, he wants to meet people that are experiencing a life change. Something basically says anything from births to deaths. People, if you've obviously had a baby recently, if you've just gotten married, gotten a new job, starting a business, or experienced, unfortunately, a death in the family. Any of these life-changing events really should trigger you to review your financial plan. And Phil would love to talk to you to talk about what your life experience you just changed and what your goals are, your retirement, savings for college, all that sort of stuff. He can definitely help you with that and advise you that way. So Phil Caravia, he is located in Swansea, Illinois, and I've got his phone number right here. His number is 618-233-2714. Again, that's Phil Caravia with Edward Jones, 618-233-2714. I'd like to thank him for being a sponsor of the TechSpot Show, and we will take a break right now. When we come back again, we will go over the 10 iPad competitors that CNN talked about in an article. So see you right after the break. Welcome back to the Tech Spot. I am your host, Marcel Brown. It's, again, the technology show for people that love technology but aren't necessarily geeks. This segment, I'm going to be talking about iPad competitors. An article, it was from PC Magazine, not CNN. I got confused with my technology news sources today, but no, PC Magazine did a comparative. They call it Apple iPad alternatives, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we're going to go over those 10 that they talk about here real quick. First, I want to mention my final sponsor is Mac Experts Illinois. Mac Experts Illinois is an Apple specialist store located in Edwardsville, Illinois, and it is a store that my wife and I manage. So we were very familiar with all the Apple products, but Mac Experts is the only Apple specialist store on the Metro East side of the river. We're still trying to get the word out there about that. Most people certainly are familiar with the corporate stores in the malls in St. Louis. They aren't aware that there's an Apple specialist store in Edwardsville on the Metro East side of the river that basically can provide you any Apple products except the iPhone, but provide almost every other service and product that the corporate Apple stores can't provide. So this iPad is courtesy of Mac Experts. It is my mobile demo iPad, so I get to take it around, use it, show people off, and like I said, it's amazing how this device sells itself just by sitting on a table and people asking questions about it. So Mac Experts, the phone number 618-655-0945. Certainly feel free to give a call if you need any Apple products or services at all. We can handle that at Mac Experts. So anyway, back to the article, Apple iPads alternatives, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm just going to hit on some quick points from the article so that you can so I can kind of go through it for you real quick. But basically, they start off by saying that there's no doubt the Apple iPad dominates the market tablet. They have 80% of the market and even greater mind share, which basically when people talk about mind share, they talk about the perception of average people have about a particular product. So 80% of the market, and to some extent you have to wonder how that market's defined, because I personally think the iPad has a bigger market share than that in what matters. And again, what they consider a tablet is also some old style tablets which really aren't competing with the iPad at all or any of the other competitors. It's a whole different market. But we'll just say even 80% is still a big share. Basically, they say Apple's done a great job leveraging iTunes, the App Store, keeping all that seamless, and of course the experiences is top notch. So that's why they dominate the market. And basically, they say for more than a year, no tablet could touch the iPad. And again, there wasn't any tablet that competed with the iPad. There was the older style tablets, but again, I don't consider those in the same class as the iPad. In my mind, it's a whole new market. What I kind of call the appliance computer market. Not the old style tablet, which is really a PC or a laptop with some touch features or pen features. But basically, they're now saying that's changing RIM with the BlackBerry Playbook, Google, with their various hardware partners like Samsung and Motorola are offering iPad alternatives. And they say some are good, some are bad, and yes, some are ugly. So far, the most successful alternative is the Samsung Galaxy Tab. And basically, it's available on almost every wireless carrier. It's a 7-inch tablet, which in my mind is maybe a little too small, but some people kind of think they like that 7-inch factor. So it's more portable. The problem with the Tab, according to PC Magazine, it was released with Android 2.2, which Android 2.2 was not specifically designed for tablets. So again, that kind of shows the rush to market. Samsung felt they had to get a product out there, even with an operating system that wasn't exclusively designed for tablets. That is called Android 3.0, or Honeycomb is the code name for it. That was specifically designed for tablets. Motorola Xoom is the first one to come out with that. According to PC Magazine, though, they say it has some problems as well. The interface can be overcomplicated at times, and Honeycomb optimized apps have been slow to surface. So again, it's kind of a hodgepodge of stuff coming out, and that's the basic gist of this article. But let me go through a few of them just for your knowledge, so you get an idea of what competitors are out there and how they stack up. First one they talk about is the Acer Iconia Tab A500. Basically, they say it's inexpensive. It retails for $450. They like the fact that it has USB ports, HDMI ports, but they say it's comparatively large and heavy, no 3G or 4G option, so it's a Wi-Fi only pad, basically. So it's basically, but it does run the Android Honeycomb operating system. So at least it's tablet-specific operating system, but there's no options for 3G or 4G. It's just a Wi-Fi only device. For some people, obviously, that's a big problem. The second model they're talking about, as I pull it up here, just give me a second. Well, they pick a bad time to have a slow website. As I can see the headline. It's the Asus ePad, or it's triple E, EEE pad, transform